Hello there, dear friends. I've been challenged by my viewers to make a couple of FA-06 videos to show some aftertouch using the foot pedal to control the aftertouch. So the Roland FA-06 is one of the more popular of my videos. On the back of your Roland FA you'll find two general purpose pedal control jacks marked Control 1 and Control 2. You can plug into these pedal jacks either an EV5 expression pedal, which is variable, or you can plug in a DP series pedal, which is just a switch. Now what these jacks actually do, what the pedal does, is determined in the software. So the first thing you have to do to use a pedal as an aftertouch device, because the keyboard has no aftertouch, is to go to the menu and then transfer to the system menu. As you can see, we select the system menu and we find the pedal tab, which is the third tab over from general. There, as you see, is the pedal tab, and in this case our control pedals are being set by the system, but you can also, here on the very top line, you can set a different pedal control in each of the studio sets if you prefer to have individual pedal control for each of the studio sets instead of a global pedal control. Now you come down here and you see that the Control 1 is set as an expression pedal, which means basically volume, and the pedal 2 is set as a start-stop pedal. So you could plug in a switch pedal into Control 2 and use it to start and stop your sequencer. But what we really wanted to do is we wanted to use the variable control, and instead of having it adjust the volume, we want it to adjust the aftertouch. So the first thing to do is to rotate your wheel past the CC numbers to aftertouch. Notice I have my Control 1 set to aftertouch. Now if we're using a Roland pedal, we can leave the polarity as standard and we're done. So that's the first step. Now in order to make sure that you can go on using that Control 1 jack as aftertouch, you need to write it. See where it says here system write? We're going to write it just to show you how to do it. So we press the system write and it says writing, system write completed. That means that every time I turn on the keyboard from now on, the Control 1 pedal will automatically default to aftertouch. And if I want it to go back to being used as an expression pedal, I'll have to change it back to expression and write it again. Failure to write it and you will lose that setting once you turn off your keyboard. Okay, so we're done with that part. So the next thing we have to do is to go to a tone. Now, the method by which we control the aftertouch on the various tones in the Roland FA-06 depends entirely on the type of tone that it is. The viewer who brought it to my attention about the Aftertouch was the one that found an Aftertouch tab in the SNS parameters. So we're going to go to a voice that's a synth lead voice, because that will make for an exciting Aftertouch. We go past all of these natural instruments. There we have synth lead. I passed it right. So let's come down here now and select Saw Lead 8. Notice that it's an SNS voice, which is what we're looking for right now. So when we press enter, we have Saw Lead 8, and we go now and we can shift tone edit, and we can put it in the Pro Edit mode. Now notice the tabs up there. Common, oscillator, we got to go back up there to the top. Pitch, filter, and we keep coming across until we get Aftertouch. So Aftertouch is deliberately a tab in the SNS settings, and as you can see, you can use your Aftertouch to change the cutoff of the filter. You see cutoff Aftertouch sensitivity, and you set it to a number for the different partials. You have 3 partials, and in this voice partial 1 and 3 are active because you see the pink dot at the top, and the sensitivity is set to +9 for them, and the level Aftertouch sensitivity is +10. So as you can see, those are what we can set with the Aftertouch on this particular voice, and it's already set to 9 and 10. So actually, if we play this voice now, we should be able to control the Aftertouch with the pedal, and we're going to do that in a second. But we can see here that with these SNS voices, the virtual analog engine, what we can do with the Aftertouch is limited to these 2 parameters. In the PCM-S voices, that is not the case. We have more flexibility than we do to make the Aftertouch do other things. How does it sound? Alright, so now I put my foot onto the expression pedal and I hold down a note. And as you can see, I'm not only affecting the cutoff, but the volume. Maximum volume, filter open. Minimum volume, filter close. So I was just moving the pedal as I removed my finger during the decay period, release period. So let's do a, hear it? So if I now do it, it also has some portamento in that particular voice, but clearly the Aftertouch is being controlled by the pedal. So you can have some fun with that and check out the other voices once you have your pedal set up, going into the control and having the control set to Aftertouch. Let's take a look now at the PCM-S voices. To explore the PCM-S voices, we once again press the enter and rotate our wheel down past the SNS voices to the PCM-S voices. There are a lot of voices here in Synth Lead. A real lot of voices. Ah, there we go. And we want to select house chord. Where is it? There it is, 451. House chord, okay? So we've selected house chord for a reason. We press enter and house chord is selected. Let us let you hear the house chord. Now the house chord, if you move the pedal at this point in time, the pedal has absolutely no effect whatsoever. None. No effect. Zip. Nada. Okay, now the reason why the pedal has no effect is because the house chord is not programmed for Aftertouch control. So let us see how we might do that and what options are at our disposal. Once again, we go to the tone edit. Once again, we go to the tone edit and we move our cursor up to the top. Now we have the wave, the common, and we have no Aftertouch tab with PCM-S voices. So in order to use the Aftertouch with the PCM-S voices, we need to go to the matrix control and set it up. Now we have matrix control 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we can use any of these matrix controls. We can set up 4 matrix controls, and it really doesn't matter which one we do. We can set it up on any one and use the others for other types of controls. These matrix control makes the PCM-S voices so incredibly flexible. So now we come down here. We're going to just do it on 4 for kicks. So we come down now here to control source. Notice it's off. So we rotate the wheel once again past all of the CC numbers till we come to Aftertouch. There it is, Aftertouch. So now we are going to set this voice to work for Aftertouch. So we've set up a control source of Aftertouch, which means that since the pedal is programmed for Aftertouch, Aftertouch now is also going to work with this tone. So then we come down here now to the destination. And here is where we decide what the Aftertouch is going to do. Right now it's off. If we do something, nothing will happen. So we have to decide, are we going to use the Aftertouch to control all these various things? Reverb, send, pitch shift, all sorts of stuff. That's why I remark that these things are so flexible, because these matrix controls allow us to set up anything we want. So what we're going to do in the interest of similarity, we're just going to set the Aftertouch to control the cutoff frequency, just like we did in the last voice. So the last one was controlling the cutoff frequency in the level. We'll just set the cutoff frequency. So notice we have source, control source is Aftertouch, control destination is cutoff, and then we have to step down one below and we have to select the sensitivity. we're going to select maximum sensitivity. Why not? Maximum sensitivity, so that the slightest change in the pedal will produce a drastic change in the effect. Now, we have a heavy foot, or if you have a heavy foot, you'll need to make a microscopic adjustment in the pedal. Now, even if I wiggle the pedal at this point in time, you're not going to hear a change in the voice. Why is that? Because we have to come down one more, and here we see control switch. Now, we have 4 switches, and they're all set to off right now. Each switch relates to the little dot above. The little dot shows that we're using all 4 partials with this particular voice. Now, all 4 partials sound like this. Okay? Because that's the house chord voice, and it's using all 4 partials. So we don't have to do this, but let's turn all the switches on just for kicks to see what will happen. Now, because all switches are on and because the thing is set to Aftertouch, I'll get a very drastic change now when I move and wiggle the pedal. Okay, have you been able to hear the Aftertouch? Okay, so now you know how to set up Aftertouch on both the PCM-S voices and the FA-06 voices. Go and have some fun with your pedal getting Aftertouch effects after you strike a note. The only disadvantage of the EV5 pedal is I find that it has a very narrow range where the effect is applied. So you have the slightest movement of your foot produces quite a drastic change in the sound. But it has a knob on the side, and feel free to play with that knob. I have a video to show you how to set the knob up properly. And of course you can change the sensitivity inside of this matrix control where it says control sensitivity, and you will be able to get the exact effect that you want. Now obviously some of the voices that are in the presets are going to have control effects for the Aftertouch once you set it to on, and some are not. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.